Hello there. Thank you for coming back and joining me again. So, let's talk about something a little bit different than sonic weapons tonight. Let's talk about coronavirus. Now, the coronavirus, as we know, has been decimating the United States. This is by design. And yes, I did just say by design. This disease was engineered. However, it was not engineered in a manufacturing plant. It was not engineered in some Chinese lab. This goes a lot deeper than that. So, we all know about Roswell. We all know about the alien crash. We all know that this was, covered up by the U.S. government so they would not have to admit the amount of technology that went into the United States space program that came from extraterrestrial beings. What this also covered up is that there has always been contact between the U.S. government and extra-dimensional beings as well as extraterrestrial ones. Now, just what is an extra-dimensional being? You have to understand that the dimensions that we know, height, width, depth, and time, those 4 dimensions are not the only ones. And there are beings that exist in a time frame that is outside of what we recognize dimensionally. The next highest dimension up is the 5th dimension. And you've probably heard a bit about this if you have been plugged in to esoterica at all. Humanity reaches points in our evolution where we as a species have the option to evolve into 5th dimensional beings. This is not a physical change so much as it is a change of thought patterns. 5th dimensional beings, for the most part, tend to think on a more complex level than 3-dimensional beings do. We are currently stuck in 3D, but we are approaching a point where we have an option to ascend into 5D. So what does all this have to do with coronavirus? Glad you asked. As we have approached these ascension points in the past, there have been extra-dimensional beings that have made it clear that they do not want humanity to ascend. They do not want us moving into the next dimensional level. This is because they have a personal stake in keeping humanity as a whole on the lower level. They are profiting off of our misery, folks. The way they keep us as a species from ascending into the 5th dimensional aspect that we should be in is by working through politicians, through corrupt leadership, and behind the scenes. Now, if you want to know how deep this part goes, we were supposed to ascend into the 5th dimensional realm of consciousness in 1967. This was derailed by a great deal of political maneuvering and engineered racial divisiveness. Sound familiar yet? It should. So, this time around, they are making sure that we do not get this opportunity to ascend by recreating the summer of 1967 with the racial divisiveness and the riots and the race riots and the deaths and the murders, but have also hedged their bets by creating this virus. Now, what they did not know when they created this virus is it has a side effect. If you get coronavirus and are symptomatic for 3 months or more, you will automatically be forced into the ascension mindset. This is going to do one of 2 things. If your body can physically handle the change in the energetic level that comes with ascending into 5D, you will experience headaches, you will experience what is commonly known as Ascension Flu. Please feel free to look that up. If your body cannot handle the energetic shifts involved in moving into a fifth dimensional level of consciousness, you will die. Plain and simple. We've got 180,000 dead Americans that did not survive the ascension process engineered by these fifth dimensional beings. So what does this have to do with the government? Well, there have been a number of measures that would have kept the virus from reaching as many people. There have been a number of measures that would have made it easier for people to evolve if they did not have to live in an attitude of limitation, lack, and scrabbling for every penny. All of this has been stopped by one man, and that is Mr. Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is not just in the pay of Russia, although he surely is. He is also on the payroll of these extra-dimensional beings. And if you doubt that he is dirty, please ask yourself how someone who has a salary of under $200,000 a year and has had that salary for over 50 years suddenly came into well over $10 million in his bank account. Something stinks in Denmark, guys. Mitch McConnell is deliberately working to keep humanity from reaching their potential. He is deliberately working to keep you from moving into a life of abundance because he is being paid by extra-dimensional beings. They don't give a flying fuck about McConnell. He will be left to hang with the rest of us when they have stopped this ascension. So what can we do about it? We've got to choose to ascend. We have to choose to move into this higher vibrational point of being. There are a number of excellent resources out there for how to move up. There are a number of excellent resources out there for how to reach this level of consciousness. But as long as we have folks who are saying that this does not exist, that it is a crackpot theory, that fifth dimensional ascension is something that only crazy people believe in, not enough people will be willing to do the work and ascend. So there you go. Your latest government conspiracy theory that you never heard about because it has been successfully buried for a very long time. Please join me in the future when I will be revealing a whole lot of other stuff that you didn't know. And I'm out.